God, why am I blanking on that? This guy, who is that? I'm trying to remember who that is.
Oh,
That's,
Yeah, that guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I did this.
Donald Glover was trying to pretend to be him. You know, he's very suave. You know, there was I remember when he was introduced, you know, he sees Princess Leia and he goes, hello, what do we have here?
Yeah.
He's very suave, he's debonair, he's always been, those are the characters that he plays. Even when he did Switch Malt Liquor Bull commercial, where he would sit there and he'd be drinking his beer, the bull would come charging through the room. Do you remember these commercials?
I don't.
Oh my God, yeah, he was like really, Billy D. Williams, of
Billy
course.
D. Williams, that's it.
Of course. And, you know, he was always suave and
Yeah.
Donald Glover's a comedian. He was trying to be like him instead of just trying to create this new character with just echoes. That's all you really need to do is have a little bit of an echo so people can relate. You know what I'm saying?
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, Childish Gambino. That's his stage name for music. He goes by 3 different names depending on what it is he's doing. He's got his comedy name, he's got his music name, and he's got his acting name.
Yep, that's what I have.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Everybody hailed him as being, wow, he's great. And then you go watch the film and you go, no, it's actually very dull and he's falling flat on his face.
It wasn't
Okay.
that bad.
Huh?
It wasn't that bad, like his face. The first character wasn't.
But when they were comparing it to what this young kid was supposed to be doing, he was supposed to be needing acting technique. They called acting coaches to help him with his acting. Okay. I mean, everybody gets an acting coach. Tom Cruise has had acting coaches. He had acting coaches when he did Far and Away.
Directors did.
Yeah, because he's not really Irish. Tom Cruise could pretend to be Irish, but he had a bad dialect coach and he had a bad acting coach, and because that was his performance was horrible. It was bad. I mean, they try their best. They're actors that are put in a situation, and they do their best to try to fill the role. You know? You take Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt did that one, The Devil's Own, with Harrison Ford again, and he had this heavy, heavy Irish accent. Totally bombed it. This was horrible. People were like saying, "Oh my God, this is a bad Irish accent." Then he did this other one where he did this like a northern English, almost like a Cockney. It's real fast. You can't understand exactly what he's saying, and then he nailed it. It just depends. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have the right coach that kind of motivates you and pushes you in the right direction, and something clicks. And then sometimes you work with somebody, and it's just like, I'm not following this train of thought. There might be one of you in the room right now going, I'm not following this train of thought. I'm not going to get anything from this class. Right? She's looking at me going, He's already made comments about the class. He's already made
And he's laughing so loud, it's like, oh, it's still raining.
That's
Oh,
because
God, it's
I'm
still
not.
raining, wait.
Yes, I'm a loud laugher. Sorry. Kill me, I'm a loud laugher. Yes. Your name was
Trip.
Trip, that's right, Trip. Trip. That's the cartoon. Okay.
That's how all my auditions failed. They start talking about my name, and I just get out of the character, and I'm like,
Is it short for anything?
no.
All right, got that out of the way.
It's like way. So this everyone's want to know the real name, and everyone's like, so, and it just
I
gets
know.
me out of the.
Care. I've worked with actors who have got so many different jobs, they have 6 different names, like Childish Gambino. So I really don't care what you call yourself as long as you own it. So why are you here as an
So I can
actress?
just say can I just introduce myself as Trip?
Sure,
Next year.
absolutely.
I don't have to
Yeah.
do the whole stupid, oh my God.
Yeah.
I went to Orlando last time, a couple of weeks ago. A friend invited me to their shooting something, I don't know. Usually get invited to like friends who ask me to come over, fill a specific role. And
Are you easy?
Excuse me?
Are you easy? Where people can just call you up and you just show up regardless?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then that's why you're dependable, so you're easy. Yeah.
And
Do you ask for money? Do you ever need gas money?
no.
That'll stop that right away. That'll stop that right away. You're probably going, no, but here's one thing a lesson that we all have to learn.
It's usually with friends.
Mhm. Even with friends. Even with friends, you've got to start asking for money. Do you know why? Because you won't get used as much.
I don't go that much. I'm lazy.
I'm just saying, I'm going off what you're telling me. You're telling me you were just there last night in Orlando, or just this past in Orlando, and I'm just saying, just be careful, know what you're worth, and stick to it. There's a certain value to that, and I learned that early in my career. You have to know what you're worth. Otherwise, you will get a lot of phone calls for a lot of junk, and you'll realize that you're spending a lot of time and a lot of investment, and you're not getting anything out of it, and you feel yourself. Because there's another thing, there's something that may complicate things. You want to remain a fresh face. You don't want to get to a point where you're going to be recognizable on YouTube and then we can't use you in this film because you're too recognized for what it is that you do here. There's a problem there.
Oh, I don't have that problem.
No, I'm not saying you do, but people can find themselves in that problem when they do so much work for free and their face is out there in the network. And people will go, hey, I saw you in that film. Oh, I was at this particular film festival and I saw you in that. You did a great job and hey, thank you very much. Hey, weren't you also in that other film? Yeah. Oh, how come you're not working with an agent? Well, I'm just helping friends out. Oh, okay. Then your agent comes to you and goes, oh, okay, so you've done this and you've done this and well, seems to be, this is what you're doing. We can't make any money off of you because you're willing to do things for free. So your agent's going to say, yeah, I'm going to stick away from you. I'm not even going to represent you because I need to know that you know your worth so I can make money too. That's what agents want. Agents need to survive and make money, so they need marketable actors and actresses, I'll just say actors, so they can make money as well. That's the mission of an agent. And if you volunteer yourself for too much work and you go and book yourself with a big agent, huh?
I never volunteer.
You get called in, but you still say yes. This is what my point is, Trip. I'm just trying to say.
Okay.
You got to stop saying yes so many times. You got to say, okay, I will do it, but I'm making assumptions. I'm making assumptions. Don't get defensive.
No,
It's already starting to work. I'm making her think.
No. Well, I've been thinking about that. I never could figure out my worth because I don't think I have done anything that worth of.
We're being paid for?
Price, yeah.
Oh,
And
I would like to tell you that you're absolutely wrong about that. You always have something very unique, and your background and your experience in your life has something very unique that you can bring to a character that has a lot of value.
I get that a lot. I've been modeling for a while.
Okay.
And I've heard that a lot. I just don't know my price. I cannot,
Well, then you find a nice
I was
happy
raised
medium.
that money is bad.
Money is bad. Money is the root of all evil, but there's companies out there that rely on it. So you have to know what it is you're worth. So you go to that company and say, this is the minimum. See what I'm saying? And even to them, they'll look at you and go, huh, really? Because she's actually a really good actress, and this is the one that we normally use, and she's going to underball it. We could use her, but then you know what? We can save money that way, but she's going to make us more money on the back end because we get a percentage or whatever the film makes. That's how this thing works. It's all works. You got to have value. If you don't have value, why would anybody want to open their door to you? You've got to know your value. This was a hard lesson that I learned very young in my career. And I used to always think, I'm just going to get myself out there and do as much work as I possibly can. I'll do it for free if necessary. And that sounds like a great thing, that you're going to get discovered by doing things for free. But no, you know what happens? You just overwork the entire area, and then you're all like, yeah, well, we know we can use Tim, he's free. And then nobody expects you to want money. And then before you know it, that's all you're doing is free stuff.
Okay, I changed my mind, I want money. I'm gonna help you out.
Right. Yeah, always negotiate. There's always a negotiation. Now, because your finances may be different than hers, you might be able to say, I can do it for this. Just help me out with some gas money. That's usually where I used to start. If you're going to do something for a friend, that's a close friend, and she wants to do it because she cares about the project, and she cares about the person, there's no reason why you can't say, hey, I'm driving all the way to Newport Richie. Can you hook me up with $20 for gas? Because if you're being considerate enough to volunteer for their project, they should be willing to compensate you for your time. That means that there's a mutual respect. If you don't establish that mutual respect, then they will start disrespecting you and using you just because you're usable. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Tremaine?
It makes sense.
I'm trying to drag that into, pound that into his head.
You just blew up my eardrums.
And then
Yes,
it
I
gets to a point that you've done it so many times that you don't dare ask for money.
Yeah.
Down the road, because they expect you to do it.
And then they start expecting more from you. They'll start expecting you to do things that you may not feel comfortable with. We're not paying you. If you say no, oh well. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever found yourself in that position? No? Well, good. I'm glad you haven't.
That's what I'm doing with friends.
Good. But even friends can find a way. Manipulation's kind of nasty. It's a nasty little thing. And it makes its way because, boy, you can be in a relationship for years. Hell, you can be married to somebody. And that still doesn't keep that manipulation from happening. So, you see my point? People just have a tendency to do that. And if you show value, if you show this is what you're worth, you're going to find yourself, this person's going to give you 20, this person's going to give you 50. Before you know it, you'll be working $100 here, $150 there. Before you know it, you can sit there and go, I don't have to work so many hours at my regular day job, and I can actually go to more auditions. There's going to be that precipice where you're going to be sitting there at one point in time in your life where you're going to have to say, do I believe in myself enough to be able to quit my job full time so I can do this, what I love? Because you can't do both. You can't. So you're going to have to make that decision when that time comes. But it's a hard thing to establish, and it's a hard thing to learn. You understand? Understand? Good. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off and go on that big soapbox tirade, but what do you do? What kind of acting do you like to do? These little films, these little projects?
They're mostly drama.
Dramatic? Okay. Do you teach with, you get classes from TV? Anybody else?
Oh, from no.
No, you're looking at
I
anything?
read all the styles, and I moved here about 10 years ago, and I just started coming back to acting. And
Where you from?
Ukraine.
The Ukraine?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I usually get.
Dobre I used to work with the Ukraine. It's Russian, but I used to work with the Russian acrobat group. I did that for many years.
What were you doing?
I was their stage manager. I worked with them. Yeah.
That's how you know the worth. You gotta know your worth.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And that was early in my career. That was, they weren't the actual ones that taught me who that was. That was actually from a wealthy man. And that wealthy man, he's the one that really showed me the difference of what money can do. It's always the wealth that's, show that that's wealth.
That's how you get wealthy. You just
Yeah, yeah,
know
well,
your worth.
I still teach for free. When he calls, he'll say, or when you call, actually, and you say, hey, are you willing to be the middleman and come and teach? I don't mind. I don't mind teaching because teaching fulfills something else for me, something that you can't pay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I want to do that
Yeah.
when I grow up. I want to be one of the casting people.
Oh,
I
interesting.
want to be not a consultant. How do you call that? Coach.
Uh-huh.
Coaching.
Right, okay, manager,
For me,
coach.
it's very easy from the distance to explain a person how to feel, I was a photographer. So
Okay.
to make a person have something in their eyes, I can describe something. That's how you feel. Remember this feeling, and I want to see it.
You are a photographer?
Yeah.
Oh, right on, okay. What do you
And
shoot?
same with the modeling.
And you said modeling, what do you shoot? What's your favorite thing to shoot? Are you very commercial? Are you very artistic? What do you-
Last thing I did was for like Marriott's. I was shooting hotels and stuff.
Okay,
They pay for
like
travel
the
and for
brochures and stuff like that, or
for websites.
for websites? Mhm, okay, right on. The new brochures, websites.
And when I do modeling, they just invite me for different looks, because I changed, like, I do wigs and I do all kinds of, like, completely different looks.
Okay. All right, very good.
That's also like with acting, sort of. Like,
Right.
I would imagine something else, and that just was something different. And
I'm gonna be tough on you. Why? Because I think you can take it, okay? Why should I be here teaching you anything I know about acting? What's gonna be what am I gonna get from you that you're gonna go out there and I know that you're going to put whatever techniques you use, whether it's this classroom, whether it's TJ classroom, whether it's Annie Matheni's classroom, how do I know that right now you're just not taking a chair and wasting my time?
I mean, I love to learn.
Right.
That's something, I don't know where I'm gonna put that, if I'm gonna act or anything, but I love learning.
Good, Okay.
I would just come to, just to listen to it, so.
just to hang in and just be, are you looking to get on the tech side?
Yes, I was thinking about doing the camera thing.
Right on. There's nothing wrong with that. When I used to teach at John Casablanca, one of the things that I discovered is that not everybody is made for being in front of the camera. And I've got many students that have turned into hairdressers, makeup artists, photographers, that have all went on and found their niche. They all found their space, their place to be in this business. You know, and I think that's funny. Some of them are even martial artists where they teach, martial arts training to people who are going to be in a martial arts film. You know, it's so funny how they find their way eventually. But it's like somebody has to come up behind them and tap them in the back of the head and go, hey, it's okay that you don't have the look or a look or whatever look. If you try it, fall for size, the shoe doesn't fit, you can always find something else to do. And you may find your path that way. There was a guy that I knew he was a PA. You know what a PA is? Production assistant. He was just walking around with his little earphones on, filling the needs of the directors and the assistant directors. And then they needed him to read a line. And he ended up reading a line, and they said, well, why are we going to hire an actor? You're already on our crew. Just do the line. Okay. So he did the line, and eventually he made it into his own television series, and he was on a TV show called Heroes. Yeah, he was the Asian lead on Heroes. Yeah, you guys remember a TV show called Heroes?
That was back in the
4
70s?
seasons? No, this was back in the
Oh,
2000s.
yeah, Heroes, yeah.
Yeah, he was the Asian kid that could close his eyes. He was a PA. Yeah, he was a PA. He started off as a PA, that did nothing but just walk around and make sure he filled everybody. Yeah, and he was a main character, just because he had.
But he had connections too.
Yeah,
because
he
he was
had the
right
presence
there.
to win, yeah, huh?
He had connections. He was
And he
right
had
there.
connections, sure. That's one of my other students, the one who did the Swamp Thing gig. He does PA work all the time. And because he does PA work, he's met people along the way where he goes, who's your agent? Oh, and they book you? Oh, can I give them my, sure. Submit the way they want you to submit. And get in that way. Before you know it, you have another agent that you're working with. She's got what?
4.
4. Yep. See, I've got 3. She's got 4. To each his own. You get that many phones. Have you ever had one where more than one have called you for the same job?
I've had over 3. It was horrible.
Okay.
That was horrible.
You still have to pick one.
Say no.
Yeah,
You have to apologize to the other team.
yeah, absolutely.
Awkward. This is very awkward, but
They're used
I've
to it.
already been submitted.
Yeah, they're used to it. I'm sure they have other talent that are doing the same thing. Maybe some people are greater than
So how do
others.
you get one?
How do you get one agent? Ooh, magic question.
The first.
Do you have an agent? Sure. Do you have an agent, Rebecca? Do you have an agent? 7. Oh, that's right, you have 7.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, how did you submit to 7?
Andy said that Katie is the great agent, you guys want to talk to her, feel free. So I called her and I said, I'd love to meet with you. And then I went in and I read for her and she said, great. She said, you know what, I'll keep it in mind and I know that, so she sends me HSN stuff all the time.
Yeah, and that's because 7 is the size of the agent that basically they feed Tampa, St. Petersburg, maybe even Lakeland, maybe even as far as Orlando, maybe. I've never seen them go, I've never heard them mentioned in Miami. There's another place in Miami that usually works that area. Everybody's got their own little zone, and the agents know of each other, and there's overlap. And that's why we have other agents competing with other people. And they all know this, and they're all comfortable with the way things are operating, So you try that with Brevard, you're not going to get through. There's a specific way you have to submit with them. You have to go online. You have to submit your headshot and resume. You can send them a link to your reel. They may get back to you.
That's the one you told me for The Walking Dead? That is hard.
Yes, it's hard. It is hard. But you can do it. Everybody else has. If Zach can do it, you can do it.
I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
You can even hire, put yourself out there for hire for this, but I think people, I need to know, to go to like a workshop and say, this is step by step, what you need to do.
Yeah.
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. Because I'm like, I'm like,
Those
okay,
are
I'm sort of
nice.
in shock of like, you know, what do I do and how do I?
Yep.
Because I, you know, how do I get?
And I can do that for you. We can do that, we can sit down, see your needs, and we can start introducing you to other people.
Let's do it.
But believe it or not, all I'm doing is hurting you.
Okay.
I know that sounds like a bad way to back away,
Right,
right? It's like a rite of passage.
so I have to do it on your own and learn.
You have to do it on your own, okay? I can point you in the direction, I can even give you a telephone number and a name, and Andy did the same thing to you.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things
Right.
that we all have to go through. If I treat you special, the trip's gonna be going, well, why is she treating her
But
special?
it's not treating me special.
It can be feeling that way.
It's like, you know, okay, well, what do we do? What do you, how do you?
As a group?
process? Yeah.
We just do it all as a group?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting. I mean, that's what John Casablancas used to do. They would have agency night, and they would call over one or two different agencies, and people would do monologues, walk the runway, do a speech, do comedy, and they'd get up there, and then you'd go in front of the agent would go, okay, got your name and got your information, I'll get back to you. Doesn't really accomplish anything, in my opinion. You gotta establish some sort of relationship that's more than just, you know, the home shopping club, okay, you do it over at St. Petersburg, yeah. Long time ago, I worked for the home shopping club, fresh out of high school, I was 18 years old. That's where I met my first wife. That's sad and true, but that's where she was a phone rep, and I was a production assistant there. Used to work at Network 2, I'll never forget that, that was a long time ago. But that's grown since I was there. There was 4 networks, and there was 1 studio that they used to film out of. Now I think there's like half a dozen studios that they film out over there. Do you get paid to do that work?
Oh, well, yeah, I would if I hadn't been selected.
You haven't been selected?
But, oh, definitely.
Okay, because you'll notice, mark my words, watch what happens when you start working for the home shopping club.
I don't know.
You'll see that they'll start compensating you in different things. In other words, let's say, for example, we hire you as a model, we're not gonna pay you a wage, but you can keep one of the outfits.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, you'll notice that.
Just slick.
They're slick. They're slick like that because it keeps you off their books. And any way of hiding whatever money that they're spending, that's what they go with, because that company is not doing as well as they used to do, and they're floundering a little bit. And I've seen that. Tracy done a lot of things over there. They had her work a Swiffer sweeper thing that they were
Yeah.
selling on the thing. And then she goes, here, you take one home with you. And then she talked to her agent, because she wants to call your agent after the event's over with. And she goes, oh, yeah, fantastic. Where's my paycheck? Weeks pass, oh, they gave you the sample. That was it.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It was only $50, but, $50, Swiffer sweeper. I had no idea I thought I was still gonna get, and she started understanding how home shopping club how they work. That's just how they work.
But the agent doesn't get their percent that way.
No, they don't, because the agency is just helping them filling a position, and they're just keeping in contact. If you find an agent who's willing to find talent that's willing to go and do something for free for a day, agent doesn't care. They're sending you and doing something for free for a day. But that person's gonna call and call and call. If there's something else that client needs that does come up for a pay, they'll remember how much they got, all the free talent that they sent them, or the free talent that they sent them, even $50 or $80. Really and truly, $8 for your day. If you're there for how long? 6 hours for $80? That's a lot of money. When you consider driving across the St. Pete, parking, driving all the way back, plus you're there for 6 hours, less than $10 an hour. You might as well be working at McDonald's. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
No, Home Shopping Network isn't what it was. It was QVC. I booked a lot of stuff for QVC, Home Shopping Network. They used to pay. Right now, it's.
QVC, those agents.
Yes, they do now.
But they used to be separate.
But right now, I believe the going rate is $90 an hour. They'll book you for 2 hours, but you're really there like 4, and they'll book you 2 hours, then there's a break. You cannot stay on the campus, you have to leave, then you come back for 2 hours. So some girls are working 21 hours, but they're only getting paid for this hopscotch kind of thing. I auditioned for them 10 times and booked nothing.
Wow.
I won't even audition. Like, I don't mean to be sour grapes, but I'm like, how hard do I have to work for shit? You're like, how hard do I have to audition
They like pretty teeth.
Something like I should say.
You have to have really pretty teeth. You have to have a natural smile where it's not forced. So if you have done any beauty pageant work or anything like that, that's perfect. They love those beauty pageant type girls. You know, they want hair that is like spotless, perfect, that can bounce a little bit because whatever it is that you're showing, you're doing. I used to be friends with Tony Little. You guys know who Tony Little is?
Yeah.
He's a dick. Excuse my language, but he is. He's a bit of a dick. He's also a druggie too. But yeah, I've known him for a long time. Tony Little, he has sold so much on Home Shopping Network. I've watched that guy from going to a gym rat to going to a millionaire. And it's sad how he's just forgotten everybody in his past, even though he knows that there are people who have the same goals and orientations as he did. Boy, oh boy, it's very funny how that works. But Tony Little, you know, he's one of those other guys who every penny that he can pinch and save, he will do. He'll get his friends to go up there. And all of them are pretty models. All of them are, they want him on his Giselle, the Gazelle, or whatever it is that he runs, or the fitness machines that he has. And they all just have to have good cardio and look pretty in their little tiny outfits.
Any questions?
Any questions? Talk to some of these people and they're like, what? Okay. Most of them are trophy wives. Most of them are just, you know, seriously, they're friends of his millionaire friends who's like, hey, can you get my wife on TV? You know what I'm saying? So you're not even being booked for those particular things. All they do is, I did this all day anyway. And they did it out for 45 minutes because usually their little section is 45 minutes, giving 15 minutes for commercials. And that's just how Home Shopping Club usually works. So the 2-hour cubes that you were talking about,
Yeah.
periods of time, I can definitely see that. Hour for prep, or maybe half hour for prep, or half hour at the end, and the hour for the actual show. It's usually how it works. Because I used to set up, when they swing the camera, I would set up the product for the next thing. I would always be one step ahead. Sometimes 3 steps ahead. We'd have 3 different, because we have little studios and networks. And we'd have 4 different cameras. And they'd go to camera 1 here, and this one, sometimes there'd be 2 cameras per studio, and they'd have 1 angle here, 1 angle here. And then there'd be another stage over here, and you have this product ready to set up. And well, we've got 30 seconds left on this one particular product here. Let's go ahead and go to our next product. Already set up. As soon as they set up that next product, so we have to go over here and strike this one, and set up the next product. Sometimes when they go, oh, we need another minute, we're going to go ahead and let this go for another minute. It has nothing to do with sales. It has to do with the other people they're not ready to set up yet. Or the model's having a hard time getting in the dress. Or the product's not working the way it's supposed to be. That's just, you'll discover all the little secrets of the Home Shopping Club when you start working on the set with them. It's
My
funny.
friend's been working there for years, and she says it's fine.
Oh, I mean, it can be fine.
Asking me to start to go there too.
What does she do?
She's face and creams and stuff,
Facial creams?
all kinds of like.
Does she sell products or does she actually use the model? She sits there and they put the facial creams on? Yeah, so she sits there in the chair and they put the facial creams on. It can be, yes, but
She always gets paid.
yeah. What does she get paid?
Wow. Don't
For her
know.
time.
I don't remember.
Well, I mean, ask. Doesn't hurt, ask. You know, always making sure that your time is worth the money. I mean, it's just one of the things that I want to tell you guys this because I don't want you guys wasting your time. Trust me on this. You know, you don't want to go out there and realize, well, I just wanted to, that's why I asked you, you want to do this for a hobby? There's no price tag for it. Go out there, do it for a hobby, have fun, enjoy the experience things together as friends. Exactly, cool, nothing wrong with that. But when you really want to start taking yourself seriously, and you want to start, working on TV or on stage or whatever it is you're doing, you got to know your worth. If you don't know your worth, and they don't know what you're worth, then
Too, I'm not sure, but I don't know what the, like the running rate is or anything like that, but
Okay.
did you just learn that by I'll just ask?
yeah, just ask. If you get your first job, what are they paying you? What's the compensation? $100. Okay, fantastic. So you do it 3 or 4 times for $100, right?
Right.
Then the next time they call you, is it going to be $100 again? Okay, can I get 100? Can I get 125? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's no leeway. Okay. The one agency that I started working with when I was a teenager, and I used to get paid $15 an hour to go to somebody's private party and pretend to be a pirate for $15 an hour. Then I started realizing, man, $15 an hour. I mean, this was when I was in high school. You ever heard of Merry Minstrels? I used to be a Merry Minstrel. back when I was out of high school. That was just something that I used to do on the weekends. You know, I had the looks, I had the appeal, I could be a very minstrel person, I do singing telegrams, I do all kinds of things that they don't have this crap anymore, you don't see this stuff anymore. But when I like this past October, you guys know the 10th downtown area pretty good, you know, the convention center, right by the convention center, they have this thing called pirate water taxi. Yep, I gave haunted tours all through.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I was a character that was ghost / immortal, depends on the night that I was working, because I had different characters built around this haunted tour. And it was a live performance. We worked 4 hours a night. We did 4 tours a night. Sometimes I only had to do 3 because the 3rd to 4th tour wasn't booked. It's just how the water taxi operated. But that was a nice big contract. Big contract. Now you're probably going, oh, what, $800,000? No, big contract. That got me through November, December, and possibly even January. That's how big that contract was. Biggest paying job in Christmas time is Santa Claus. You know what a Santa Claus gets paid? You ready to get this?
How much?
Largest Santa Claus in the world is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Santa. He works from Thanksgiving, from the parade, till New Year's Eve. $240,000.
Nice.
You made this close.
Supply and demand, right?
You know what the malls here pay?
No.
About $4 to $5 grand.
Well, that's
So
that's-
look,
that's
it's
6
that
weeks
look.
worth of work.
Yeah.
That's 6 weeks worth of work.
6 weeks worth of work. Not always 24 hours. I think some of them only have 4 hours of appearances. There's 4 hours during the day. Not a lot of work, not a lot to do. You sit there and you talk to kids. It's not a demanding job. It can be if you get kids that are,
I just imagine showing up. Did you just assume a gender?
yeah.
I want to be Santa.
Elves get much less. Elves get paid maybe daily, probably between $80 to $120 a day, maybe, if you're lucky. It just, there's a ladder. Everybody wants that coveted position of the Macy's Thanksgiving. There are Santa Claus out there that spend their entire lives growing a beard so they can be in the Macy's Thanksgiving. You have to have specific, you have to have the real beard when you're in the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. You're sitting in Macy's, you know. The money might be coming down a little bit because Macy's is starting to hurt a little bit. They're having some growth issues in their company. So there might be a little change in them, but still it's one of those coveted positions. It's one of those things, if you book that, you're like, ooh. Then imagine, most people can live off of $240,000 for the rest of the year. So what does that Santa do for the rest of the year? Absolutely nothing. Or audition for other things. Because they filmed Santa Claus movies in February and March of the previous year, because it takes usually 2 years in post for all the special effects. The dolphin one that we just did, Burning the Dolphin, we did that last year. Next time you go to Annie Matheny. I was there when she was filming on the beach, and I was there because, like I said, I was just going to walk on that day.
She won an award.
She
for
plays,
last week?
huh?
Is that the one she won an award for last week?
No, she was, they had the premiere last week. The premiere on Friday, this past Friday, they had the premiere in St. Petersburg. But, yeah, you know,
Was
Annie
one
still
of the
works.
leads on The Walking Dead?
Who?
The girl from the lead from that movie?
Laura? Annie Matheny?
No, black hair, short hair.
Yes. The wife of the man of the
Yeah.
lead, she was on The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Absolutely
she had
right.
a really good,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep. The woman who plays the mom in Burning the Dolphin was on The Walking Dead. She got this job through Brevard. Both of them. That's how she ended up. Because it had Kevin Sorbo in it, so that's a pretty big talent for a small budget film. Guy who played Hercules on TV for like 8 years. You guys know what I'm talking about? Kevin Sorbo. His wife was on the film, Sam Sorbo. She was on the film. His kids were there. There were some of the background kids and the school kids. This was a passion project. This was coming out mostly out of somebody's pocket because the daughter wanted her own film, and the millionaire father said, "I'm going to make you a film, sweetheart." And that's how she got to be the little 9-year-old girl that's in it. That's how she became in this film. They even hired other, Patrick Muldoon from Starship Troopers was in it. So he's one of those direct-to-video kind of actors. Nothing wrong with that. They didn't turn it down. And they're actually right on set now, as we speak, shooting the sequel. They're at the Marineland right now. over in, the other coastline. Cocoa Beach, there you go, yeah, so, look for some work, maybe they're still casting for certain particular things. All right, let me look at these things here, okay? Did you guys bring your own material? Anybody?
I was
You
supposed to do it with Ed, he's not here, so.
Who's Ed? Which Ed?
He's gonna come, so we can.
What was it, what's Ed's last name? Do I know Ed?
Maybe.
Do I know Ed?
Who?
Do I know Ed?
Who?
Ed.
And who?
Ed who?
Ed, I'll tell you just. a second. Ed, Raymond.
Oh, wow, that does sound familiar.
You know, he's just a hardworking guy, but he would be great for him to be here because I think he needs to know his work too.
Yeah, that's one thing about actors, man. Most actors do not know their work, and they'll go through their entire career not booking anything bigger than a little position and not know their worth. And you probably say, well, Tim, how come you're not famous? I have been, short periods of my life. I was making more money than my mom and dad put together. My mom was a nurse at St. Joseph's Hospital, and my dad owned his own business. I had hit or misses. I've been on the stage at the Globe Theatre in London. I did a Midsummer Night's Dream there.
Cool.
So I worked hand in hand with the Royal Shakespeare Company. So that's kind of cool. You get very, very little do you ever see Americans on that stage. Very rare. And I got to play Bottom. That was a very interesting, over loud laughing individual because he's an over actor. And that's one thing I love doing is overacting. It makes it easy for me. Let's have some fun. Dead Girl. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong book. Sorry. Roma. Agent.
My Roma or agent?
Your agent. That's Roma, your agent. M. P. Oh, hold on, there's 3 pages on that. Take that one. Take that one. And take that one. I'm having too much fun with this chair. You said you have your own piece? Is it a scene or a monologue?
Monologue.
Right up. So everybody else got something to work with? Just read them real quick. Just read it to yourselves. You don't have to, if you want to go over and get closer, you can feel free if you need to sit next to somebody. This won't happen in an audition room. If you ever go and audition, you're most likely going to get someone that's going to read with you that is going to put no emotion whatsoever in it. They're not going to emote anything. They're just going to do a cold read, and you're required to go ahead and give them something in the audition, whether it's a taped audition or a live audition. While they're reading, let me see your monologue. And since you've got the camera set up right here, middle of the room facing the camera, so we can get something on tape. Come a little closer. Did you want to put her up against the wall? No, let her open up in the space. I don't like putting people up against walls. I'm not about barriers.
Is she gonna be directing it that way, or is she gonna be directing her performance that way, or to you?
Off camera. Direct your performance off camera. It can be to whoever. Okay. I'll just watch. I'll move around. I'm a little bit of a different type of instructor. I might even come and walk close to you. I just want to see how you work when something strange happens, because I can't tell you how many times I've been in the middle of a performance and then somebody strange walks into the room and just gets a lunch order, which is really rude, but it happens all the damn time.
Yes.
All right, so, yeah, what is this that you're doing?
It's a monologue called Good Deeds and Such.
Okay. Anything I should know beforehand? Yep. All right, right on, whenever you're ready.
All right, you witches, we have gotten ourselves a PR problem here. Now, the witches have gotten a seriously bad reputation here in Fairy Tale Land, and it's only gotten worse since that Hansel and Gretel incident. I mean, come on, people, eating small children, that's just wrong. Now, the fairies want to get rid of all the magic here in Fairy Tale Land. They can and they will, unless we do something about it and clear this whole mess up. I mean, they gave it to the witches in the first place, and now they want it all back because they think we can't handle it. I mean, we have a crisis here, people. What's a witch without her magic? We're nothing, I tell you, nothing. Just a bunch of creepy old hags with big hair and skin and Shazam! Oh no, we need some good PR, good deeds and such. No? Then say poof to your magic and learn how to use chopsticks, because that's all our ones will be good for. Oh no, we need a good deed, and something serious. I've got it! We're gonna save the prince, AKA Sleeping Handsome. But think of the PR. Witches saving the prince, and we gotta do it before some bubble-headed princess beats us to it. Thank you.
Right on. What is this from? Yeah, give a round of applause. You're pretty good.
Something I found on the internet.
Is this part of a bigger piece, or is this just written for a monologue?
This is just a monologue.
There's some good things about this monologue and some bad things about this monologue. And this has all to do with being able to comprehend and understand what's going on.
Sure.
There's a couple of moments where you jump out of the monologue, where you're like pooping somebody in the front. If you want to be a little bit more potent in the performance, get rid of that.
Okay.
Just get rid of that line of dialogue. Go straight into the let's get people rallied up to be part of this being a witch. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Get rid of those weird actions.
Okay.
It just weakens the monologue and makes you go, huh?
Okay.
And I don't want to be pulled out of it. As somebody who's watching you perform, I don't want to be pulled out of it because it keeps me from watching what you're able to do. You have two nice feelings going on right here. You've got one of motivation, where you're trying to rally the troops, and then one where you get a little bit of a gut punch, where you feel as if we're not good enough. You need to know how you can speed your dialogue up during that motivational speech and slow it down so you can feel a gut punch, so we can be emotionally effective and get us to feel a little. But we can't do, we gotta jump into that. Especially since you're doing a little character acting here. If you're going to be a character, let's see the character, let's have some fun with the character. So get a little bit, don't be afraid to get big verbally and physically, but we don't need to move around as much. It can all be right here.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you can look at the room, and you can decide how big the room is. How big is this room? Are these 5 people you're talking to, or are these 50 people you're talking to? Now, if you're 50 people that you're talking to, then you're going to get like Braveheart. You're going to have one of those monologues where you're going to, let's get going, people! Rally! You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if it's 5 people, there's no reason why you can't bring it to a whisper like this here into the camera. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you need to start establishing the room, what it is that you're performing in. So establish your space. Once you've got your space established, then you can start playing with the dialogue a little bit to fill that space up or bring it down. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And those are 2 things that you can do to make this a little bit more of a performance. I mean, it was really good. You did very good. The characterization was good. I think it was being held back a little bit. I think there was more. I think you were cold, but that's okay. That's what this is all. That's what this class is all about. They loved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought it was really good. It was very. It was very. It was a monologue. It was a nice little monologue, right? But I want to see something that's going to wow me.
Okay.
Okay? Can you see how those little jumps where you're trying to bring somebody into a small moment that you and another individual is having, but you're having this, it pulls away from that.